Good morning, App Properties. It's Wednesday, April 15th, and yes, it's snowing. But on the bright side, we don't have to pay taxes today. I'm Amy Corr, and I've got Kevin Van Eck with me live out of the Goose Island office. We thank you all for joining us for another episode of Coffee with Amy and Kevin. Good morning, Kevin.
Hey, good morning, Amy. Yes, we all get to hold on to our money a little bit longer. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and hope you have your coffee and you're ready. Today, we are bringing on a broker to talk about his perspective. And it's a unique perspective because this broker spent some time in another industry and really honed skills there that translate directly into real estate. And so we're going to talk with him about that and what his routine is like, not only before COVID, but now during the pandemic, how that may have changed or what he's going to do continuing forward. So we're really excited to talk with him today.
Thanks, Kevin. Yes, I'm super excited to have Neal joining us this morning. Rich is a broker out of our East Lincoln Park office. And since we have been shelter in place, Rich has actually been sharing a ton of stuff with Kevin and I on all the things that he's doing to support his clients right now, but also the things that he's focusing on to come out of this time even stronger. So Rich, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning, Amy and Kevin. Thank you so much for inviting me. I've watched you guys over the past couple of weeks and excited to be part of it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So to start, I wanted to talk a little bit about your background and really what you were doing before you decided to get into real estate, because you really have kind of a unique story and some really great background of, what you did and what your job experience was prior. So can you share a little bit with us?
Sure. My career before real estate was really wrapped in the retail world. So I started fresh out of college. I have a degree in French with a marketing minor, which got me real far. So I stumbled into a first job in the retail business, and I discovered, God, if I could sell $2,000 leather pants in the middle of summer in Chicago, that I should take that up market, and what could I sell in a bigger idea? So literally back in the 90s, I thought about real estate. That would be what I wanted to do. So I took my first real estate class back in 91. I was all excited to go forward in this, but then my company I worked with started to move me all over the country. I mean, at 25, they said, "Do you want to move to New York City?" And I said, "Absolutely." So I took a stint with them, New York, San Francisco, Boston. I landed with, they closed their stores, and I wound up with Nordstrom, which was a blessing in disguise because that's really where I was able to hone in on customer service. That's really what they were all about. So I was with them for about 10 years. I'm on the selling floor. I managed departments, I managed stores, and then I was a buyer with them for my last 5 years of my career. And then I wound up not wanting to move to Seattle to corporate headquarters, and I stayed here in Chicago to work with Ace Hardware Corporation as a buyer with them. So there I managed $150 million of wholesale business. So I was very comfortable talking with business owners and people with bigger budgets than I had to talk about business. So I was very comfortable talking with them about that. So that's sort of like, but what I decided back in the 90s, I always knew I wanted to come back to Chicago, number one, because like Thad and Mike said, it's the most affordable big city in the country. And number two, real estate was always my end game, was always going to be the last piece of my career that I had, because I knew that number one, I could invest. I've been fortunate to have rental properties. And then number two, as I got older, I could continue to sell as long as I wanted and then dial back as I moved into the next phase of my life. So real estate was always the end game.
So Rich, when did you decide, and you had shared this with us, that you had gotten your license long ago, but then you had these kind of cool opportunities in between, but what year was it, and what was it ultimately that made you jump out of retail sales and getting into real estate?
Sure. For me, it was a one step too far away from the customer. I'm all about customer service, making people happy, taking care of them, number one. And so it was the wholesale job at Ace Hardware. After first 2 strong years, where am I going to go next? I realized I didn't want my boss's job and I didn't want my boss's job. So I was like, okay, now's the time to move into real estate. If I'm ever going to start, now's the time to do it. So I took 6 months, put aside a lot of money because I knew I wasn't going to make any money right away. So I had 6 months of cash on hand and that's when I was like, as soon as that hit my savings account, I called my partner. I was in China and I said, okay, I got the money. Now I'm going to quit. So I did. And then actually, it's funny. Thank you, Kevin, for being here. Kevin was the first person at Properties I interviewed with, and he said yes. Thank you, Kevin.
We're glad you're here. I remember that. That was some time ago. It was a really cool interview, and I know I was impressed at the time. And so you mentioned customer service, and you were a step too far away from the consumer at that in your previous role. So when you now came into real estate, what skills or habits did you have from those previous careers, those previous roles that translated directly into your success?
The first thing was, again, I always focus on, and I train my salespeople on, you have to think about it's a repeat business. It's not transactional. It's not now. You have to create a relationship. So I was always big on, number one, I worked with the CRM system, so I understand the whole point of like put information in, start out each day knowing what you're going to do. And then number two, handwritten cards. As weird as it sounds, everybody always says, when's the last time you got a handwritten card? It's always, in my mind, a game changer, and to let somebody know you think about them. So I think that those pieces of really putting the customer first and making them create a relationship with them was the most important piece in my career. And number two was analytics. I was able to translate the ability to analyze business trends, which we do with the MLS. We can figure out any market because of information, and that piece really helped me jump right into real estate so I could learn markets.
So it's interesting because a lot of these things I think you adopted or learned in, your prior roles. But,
exactly.
Doing the note cards, analytics is always really important, but also really focusing on the client and really that relationship. And it kind of segues so well into, the fact that you're a ninja. You took ninja probably a few years ago, I think. And, tell me what you got out of that, because I think you already had some of the foundational things that we speak of in ninja. But I know that you got so much out of it. So what do you feel like, sort of helped you kind of get to your next level and what you got out of ninja?
Number one, I think because of my experience, I was predisposed to the way they approach the business, but it really helped bring all that from the back of my mind to the front of my mind and help me focus on all those things to really take care of the client and put them first in mind. But one of the things that I really liked about Ninja that I've adopted is really how to sort of approach your day and start your day, that sort of structured piece, like the first part of the day from, I still do gratitudes and affirmations every day and write down those things every day because I think those things really help set my mind to get ready for the day. So that's the first part of Ninja, is to really help organize how I approach the real estate business. And I think that's one of the pieces that I didn't know right away, but was how to be organized and how to approach. And then after that, the listing presentations and all those presentations really, really helped refine that. But for me, it was really about how to structure your day and how to go forward. So I've got something to do every day. One of the things I tell people getting into the business, I want to try real estate. You have to get up and go to work every day. I mean, it's a job. And so I appreciate that with Ninja, it really helped me get up and go to work every day.
So with that routine, would you be willing to share the routine, like get up and go to work, what you do every day?
I can't, sure. I like everybody, I do a lot of self-improvement reading, a lot of business books and things like that. So I call it my daily startup. Like you start up your computer, you push the go button. I do the same thing for myself. I found in the Master Your Minutes book, a way to start my day. And literally it's like, get up, drink water, exercise, have a breakfast. Meditation is really important. Read something that's improvement for yourself, for your business, and journal. And the last thing, I think one of the most important things is literally create a list for the day. I mean, it can be long, short, whatever, but understand your most important thing you want to do for the day. So at least at the end of the day, if you only do one thing, you've hit your most important thing. But it's my daily startup. I know that starts my brain. Does that make sense? Sorry, Kevin, I didn't mean to copy that.
It makes absolute sense. Can you actually hold up?
Oh, sure.
Show us all, because you showed us earlier.
Sure.
Your little sheet. And Kevin, maybe we can add the books and the reference, because it says change your life. And I think all of us are always looking for ways to change and improve our life. So I love that. I love that. All right. So I wanted to talk with you a little bit about, we are in an interesting point in history and in time. And, I want to ask you, as you see it, what's one thing that you are doing really right now as we are shelter in place that you find has been working and you want to make sure that coming out of this, you've decided that you won't stop doing?
Sure. One of the things that back to my Nordstrom days and customer experience, was really about the handwritten note piece. as soon as COVID happened, one of the things that dawned on me is like, okay, everybody's going to be sheltering in place. And one of the few ways to get information from other people other than through the computer is your mailbox. Everybody's going to get mail every day. So Amy, thank you to the first of the year. I attended your class and really focusing on the top 200 people. So I already knew the top 200 people I wanted to focus on this year. So I already had my stack of cards, a big box of them. And so every day I literally just went through my list and it was fun. Actually, every day was at least 10 people. And I love thinking about my clients. I'm very fortunate that I love everybody that I worked with. So I got to think of them, number one. And number two, as I sent the letters out, it's still, I mean, immediately I started getting text, emails, and calls even thanking me for such a personal card. And I think I just wanted to share a little bit of me with the people that I know, clients and friends. And I think that's one of the things. Number one, I did it because I cared about them. But number two, at the end of the day, nobody else is. So they're going to keep me in mind. I just want to be top of mind now and going forward. So I will never not do handwritten cards. I think it's one of my signature pieces.
I think that's cool. And that's a way that I view to be memorable, right? In an easy way. So I'm glad you're sharing that. And speaking of being memorable, I think if anybody's ever met you in person, one of the things that I remember and really think about is you are a great dresser. And I know this might be a superficial question or seem like one, but I think it's important for two reasons. One is, as soon as we're out of this quarantine, I'm going to need some assistance with my wardrobe. That's the first, if I can be helped. So if you would be willing to do that with my closet, just kidding. But the second is, if, the world has gotten more casual and you are continuously, anytime we see you in an office or out and about, you are not casual, so to speak, you are put together. Do you think that has an impact on someone's business, or what do you think the impact of that is?
Well, I think that it's really important, and thank you, Kevin, for asking, because it's one of those things. I think we all remember the in-person showing we scheduled for the middle of the summer, and a group shows up, and you can't tell which one is the broker, which one are the clients, because they're all in t-shirts, shorts, and flip-flops. So for me, dressing is not just about, it's about you're showing respect. You're showing respect for yourself, that you're a professional, that you're pulling yourself together from your hair, your face, your clothes, whatever you're doing, you're a professional, number one. Number two, it shows respect to your client, that you're showing them, I am the business leader. You should trust me because I can pull this together. And you're also showing other brokers that, hey, I am successful. I'm pulling this together. I want you to treat me with the respect that we deserve in our profession. So I think that really is a very important piece. And I remember one of the first things that Dad and Mike said about when they first joined forces back in the day, they each saw each other as the broker who wore a suit. And that was a differentiator because they really cared about themselves. They cared about the profession. So I think that, to me, it makes me feel good. Like as I'm pulling myself together to head out the door, like my mind is now on game. I'm ready to go because I'm dressed and out the door. And that's how I feel about it. I think get dressed.
I love it. You were talking about it being like your shield of armor for the day, right? Once you're dressed and ready to
Absolutely.
go. And yeah, I think it is so important because, the reality is that people are evaluating you before they even talk to you. It's the minute that they see you, it's that impression that you're making. So keep it up. I love that. I love that people focus on how they look. I think it's really important. All right. So we could be talking to you for hours. This is super enjoyable, and you just have a lot of great stuff to share. But I wanted to ask you one final question. So fast forward to the future, you are mentoring a Rich Neal. What do you tell him? What words of advice do you give him?
Continue to set goals. I think it's really important. Amy, with your business planning from the first of the year, you have to set goals. What are you going to do? What do you want to do this year? And then break it down. Break it down to, what do I need to do every quarter, every month, every day, back to my morning startup. Okay, today I know I need to do these little things. And the book I'm reading now is all about incremental growth. So everything compounds. So whatever you do, all the little things every day, they will all ladder up into a big day. So always set goals. And number two is really have a daily ritual, have a daily routine. Know how you're going to start every day.
That's great. Thank you so much, Rich. To echo Amy, we could talk for hours. really, because you've got so many great things to share. So if it's okay, we'd love to have you back at some point.
Sure.
And if it's okay, we'd also love to share your reading list, because you talked about how part of your daily routine is reading some sort of self-improvement. So if you could share some of those with us, that would be great too.
I will be happy to do that. I'll send it to you guys after the call. And my second cup of coffee.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone for joining us today. As always, send us any emails, thoughts, concerns, anything to coffee@properties.com. Follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to us on YouTube. And you'll be the first to be notified anytime we have a new episode. And you can also find all of our past episodes there as well. So I hope everyone has a great snowy day. Go make a snowman, and 6 feet away from anyone else. And thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.